Alright, so I'm going to change the oil on this thing. Here's one thing you don't ever see me use, but this is just an indication of how much I care about it. If you get Fram filters, it's because you don't care. They're garbage. Same with Walmart's motor oil, engine oil, excuse me. But I don't know how long this thing will stay in service for me, so I'm just going to go cheap on it. Normally I'd get a Wix or Napa or maybe a Mobil 1 or Purelator filter. Those are the brands that I usually get. If it's, well, sometimes I even go with Fords depending on what we're talking about, especially with the 7.3. But anyway, this is a first for me in, I don't know, 12, 15 years. These filters are garbage, by the way. They fall apart. Do some research on there. There's people showing you, cutting them apart, how badly they are designed. But anyway, we'll dump this stuff in there. I already drained the oil out, and yeah, it does smell a good bit like gasoline. So the engine's probably wore a good bit. It's garbage though. It's 4.6 liter. And one other thing I do always in an oil change is make sure it's clean. Motor oil, engine oil, whichever you prefer. And lubricate that seal, and make sure to get paper in there and everything too. So that'll help everything. I gotta get under here and look, but if the filter mounts straight down or a little cocked to the side, I always fill that sucker up with oil before I stick it in there. It's really stupid to do a dry start, so it's best to have the oil ready to go the best you can. I mean, that is if you care anything about it. Even this junky old thing, I still care enough to prime up the oil filter. But like I said, I'm gonna have to crawl under here and look real quick and make sure it's not mounted sideways or some crazy stuff. So, because if it is, well, then you'll just have to get what it gets. But be back. So yeah, on the 3.4 Discoveries with the 4.6 liter, your oil filter goes up in there, and I don't think you can see that, but it is cocked at a 45-degree looking angle. And then, yeah, right there is the drain plug for the engine. I like how they made theirs. The head's a lot longer, so you got a lot more area to grip a hold of, especially if you like vice grips, which those failed me on this one here, and I wound up having to grab a 15mm to take that out with, and I'm pretty sure that's the same size for the 4-liter Discoveries as well. But yeah, I've already last night after I got done driving this, brought it home and immediately took the plug out. So the oil's been drained out of this thing. So now I just got to get the filter back up in there, and I actually do have the cover for this. It's laying out in the yard somewhere. But anyway, my other one I didn't have any of this. I had a metal plate for my bull bar. One thing I noticed on this thing when I was fooling with it is the front's pushed in. And speaking of funny things, one of the previous owners contacted me wanting to buy the whole thing, and I declined on that because now I'm going to keep it for a good while, I think. But if somebody wants the engine and transmission out of it, money talks. But anyway, the previous owner told me that when he got this thing, it didn't even have a bumper on it at all. So I think it got a little bit of accident damage going on right there. And he's the one that installed this bumper. He said it was off and on too, I think. And I didn't ask him, but I guess that's why that winch bar's on there too. That's cool. I got one to stick on it. And anyway, so I did fill, not all the way, but I did put oil in this filter too, so that hopefully it won't be a dry start. But now I'm going to see if I can't get this up in there without getting myself drenched in oil, because I'll probably put too much in there. But not going to film all that. There's your oil fill tube, and the yellow handle over there is where you check the oil in this thing. Now, I guess really I should title this video Maintenance, because I'm going to go ahead and cover all the most basic of it. But some things I noticed on this thing right after I brought it home was it's missing a clip there. It's had some surgery there. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so let's do that together. Oh, look. Broke it. Because I was stupid. Missed a clip. So, yeah, you might want to look out for that. It's alright, it's not a customer's vehicle. And that's actually my napkin I stuffed in there when I was checking the oil yesterday. I did look at it too when I bought it because I was curious if it had water in it. So let's see what garbage is in here. That ain't too bad. I mean, it does have stuff in it. And then might replace it. Probably not though. Cause like I said, I don't expect this engine to give me long service or anything, but I know that the head gasket's still holding up in her, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep on and trucking with it. I've put about 200, maybe 250 miles on it now since I bought it. I'm in the process of hunting down some good used 18-inch tires, and I really just want to be stingy with how much I put in this, because any day this thing right here could pop a head gasket or any of that kind of crazy stuff. Speaking of all that, the previous owner also told me that he replaced the throttle plate gasket and something to do with the coolant on it or something. I can't remember, but was interested hearing from somebody that owned this thing 2 years ago. Probably should have asked him more questions, but I kind of felt bad because turning the guy down on buying something that he was fond of back, but I don't know what to say. I saw this on Craigslist. It'd only been on there for like 8 or 10 hours, so it wasn't on there long as far as I'm aware. Now let's go ahead and look at the coolant. There is some in there. Let's see where it is. That's okay. Water level's right there somewhere. So it needs a little more antifreeze. Let's see if we can't get her to show up. So anyway, we'll go ahead and deal with that oil filter, and then we're going to come back and discuss how you check the trans fluid level on this thing. Because if you've ever looked, you won't find a dipstick on these, or the previous 99 to 02 models at least. I'm not sure about the ones before that because I've not worked on one, but I worked a lot on a 2002 Discovery. So even though I'm a little rusty, I do know quite a bit about them. Anyway, alright, so I dumped 5 quarts of oil in there. So we'll fire it up and then see what I'm doing. Okay, oil pressure light went out. Hey, check the blow by. If it blows that off there, then it's got it set to crank pressure. I ain't done, but what I read is they take 6.1 quarts, so we'll let it run for a second and then check the dipstick, see where we're at. You like my rigging, how I rigged that battery up? I ain't top post anymore. me make a correction here. I put 4 quarts in there. So now it's getting 5, but I'm finishing off that gallon jug. And I also gave it 6 ounces of this stuff. It's like the only fuel additive or oil additive I would put in something. And now I'm not talking about Power Strokes though. I'm talking about just gasoline engines. I wouldn't run that in there. But I usually don't use any at all. But there are some good ones. But you know, they don't pay me to advertise for them, so I'm not going to. Which, anything I do actually talk good of. It's because I use it and like it and think it's a good deal. I don't know. I haven't had enough trouble out of my injection system on diesels to recommend anybody's additive, or used it long enough to know whether it would work or not, so it's a big reason I don't talk about it really. But anyway, and yeah, you can see I unplugged the air conditioner compressor because I don't like it running when I got the defroster on, and yes, I know it's to preserve the air conditioner seals and all that good stuff, but I don't care, like I said. Did put the air filter back on over there. I'm going to get me some glue or epoxy and straighten all this garbage up here so it's not sucking dust into it, because it probably has been a little bit, but you know, it's not a turbocharged, so no turb ski. It's not going to hurt it too bad, not like on a diesel. Serpentine belt probably needs change, but you know what, I'm too lazy. I'll wait till it breaks and puts me in a bind and forces me to. Probably keep that and glue that on there, but I gotta go do some driving first today. So I'm gonna call this good, but it probably needs a little bit more oil. But earlier I was checking the dipstick, wasn't even registering, so I dumped the rest of that gallon jug in there. So I've got some more oil laying around here. I think some, don't even know. Oh well, that's transmission fluid, so I better not pour that in there. I've got some oil for the lawnmower laying around here somewhere. I'll just use it to top it off, because I'm not really concerned about it. I mean, look at the brand of oil I bought and the brand of the filter. I mean, just trying to get by. I like to get some miles out of this for just a little runaround vehicle, but it's not important to me. I got 5 kids. There's 7 passengers, and even if this had the jump seats, I wouldn't use them. That'd get a person killed. So, you know, it's just a little runaround vehicle if just myself or some of the couple of kids want to come with me, but the whole family can't fit in this thing, so it's just I'd call it a pleasure craft. It's got 278 cubic inch, 4.6 liter V8. No, that's not a Ford V8 either. If it was, it would be a dandy of an engine. Which, you know, while I'm sitting here contemplating on doing a diesel swap on it, something that would be easier to do would do a 4.6 DOHC out of, you know, like say a 98 Cobra Mustang or so. I did that conversion on a Jeep years ago, and that was awesome. And that was before I was making YouTube videos. I was making videos a person ought not to for a living. And I really should have been doing video in that, because that was such a cool project. So yeah, this thing actually does take probably about 6 1/10 a quart of oil. So I dug this out, and it's STP, and you know that means it's really good, because I mean Richard Petty endorsed and used this product, so, and it's the Pro formula, so it's just like using the same oil they use in the NASCAR engines, right? I wonder how good 20 W50 oil is for this engine here. But that's what I accidentally bought to dump in my lawnmower. So anyway, I used a quart of that to top her on off there. Oil's oil anyway. I mean, I'm not going to waste money on another $5 on a quart of oil for this thing. I mean, it's just not worth it to me. I got to deal with the blamed tires. I mean, look at the dry rot on the tread and everything. I mean, that right there looks like it's wanting to just poof. And usually the dry rot's usually on the sidewalls more, but on these tires here, they're all like that. Every one of them. it's pretty dark. I don't know if you can see it on this one or not. This tire's not as bad, but it's definitely bad. I don't like dry rod. I'd rather drive on them with the wires showing. So, anyway, we got enough lube in this thing. Filter, that's probably about like using none at all, but at least that, I mean, I threw the dirty trash filled filter away, so do the cheapest I can for this thing. But definitely, guys, don't use Walmart oil or Fram filters unless you just don't care that much. Because I mean, really, these things are bad about head gaskets and cracked heads, so I'm not really concerned about protecting the rest of the engine. A lot quieter than when I first bought it, ain't it? Gotta do something about the three amigos there. But that'll be for another video. Next, I'm going to show you how you check the automatic transmission fluid in these. Okay, so I came down to the car wash to spray this thing off because, well, my pressure washer's winterized, maybe. So I didn't want to drag it back out. Listen how this thing sounds now. I stopped the go pedal. 4,200 RPM. 5,000. Nowhere near as loud as it used to be. I'll have to stick a clip of that in here so you can listen to the comparison. Now I'm going to show you how to check your trans fluid on your Land Rover. This works for at least the 99 and up years. This works on at least the 99 to 04. You do have to have it running. It has to be warmed up. I'm only doing that because I'm showing you to. I wouldn't put the emergency brake on, but you'd better do it. And I'm gonna okay, so what you need is an Allen wrench, and it needs to be this size. Figure it out. I'm sorry, it's not on there. I don't know. Go look it up. So, since I don't have any catalytic converters on here, this is made a little easier. That right there, that's the drain plug. Don't take that out unless you want a big mess. Make sure to burn yourself a couple of times on the hot exhaust. That's how you know you really got something done. Alrighty then. So it's closer to the passenger side, and right there is the fill tube for the transmission. It's sealed, probably so you don't get dirt and crap in it and off-roading and having a good time. It's the only good reason I know to do that. So, with it running and warmed up, Look, see, I fixed it with some flex pop, so at least it's not crazy loud anymore. There we go. So, hopefully, ever so slightly, a little bit of fluid will come out of this pan. If not, that means it needs to be filled. Oh yeah. And it's definitely got fluid in it. So, I don't have to pull with that at least. Definitely want to put it in there nice and tight like it was. Maybe even strip it out. Oh look, I kind of did get the underneath this cleaned up pretty good at the car wash. Not bad. Sorry about my finger being in the way. And right there is what it looks like with furnace cement on it, which by the way did not hold up. There's definitely still a little bit of exhaust coming out there, but it don't really matter, does it? And yeah, this won't be that clean looking for very long. It's going to leak piss oil everywhere again still, no doubt. But tried to clean it up a little bit after changing the oil and all that. Here's another thing I really like about Rovers is look at the axle on this thing. You notice how it's not assembled like, you know, with the tube and the housing and stuff. It's all welded together, much stronger than what you see on other vehicles and all. Super nice. Anyway, I'm getting a little too tired of breathing this under here, so I'm going to wiggle myself out from under this. Got on Craigslist, broke me back, so it looks like I'm going to go get me some better tires now. Well, tomorrow, not now. So, anyway, that's the general maintenance that I do on a vehicle after getting it. I do need to check the differentials, I guess, too, because I definitely want those to survive. But yeah, I don't have any idea what size this Allen is. The transmission fluid definitely doesn't look like it's ever been changed in it. It's not pure black, it's got a little red to it. Anyway, I hope this video is a profit for you. Hope y'all are staying warm where you are, and maybe even dry. It's pretty wet here, but you and your families be safe, and as always, praise the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. May He richly bless and guide you and your families. Take care.